Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at the boot trunk area for the MGA models. So that's applicable to the MGA Roadster and the MGA Coupe models. And what we've got here is we've got the boot trunk set, which consists of the mat and side covers. And then we've also got the spare wheel cover here. Now, spare wheel cover, I've done two sets purely to kind of illustrate the way they mostly left the factory versus an upgrade kit, which is very much the sort of popular way to go, certainly for the kits we supply. Now, to clarify what we're talking about, obviously us Brits refer to it as a boot, our American cousins refer to it as the trunk, so we refer to it as the boot trunk area just to cover our bases. But as you can see here, it's the flooring, side areas, etc. of the boot trunk as you open the boot lid on the cars. Now, originally, I believe from the factory, they left with no flooring covers or side covers on them. It was literally just the spare wheel cover, as you can see here. So this boot trunk mat and sides is very much an upgrade kit, but it's become a very popular kit. People always seem to trim out their boot trunks when they're doing complete interiors using our kits, and often colour wise and material wise it follows on from the main cockpit cabin area. With that in mind, it's worth checking out another video which will feature at the end of this one as a link where I do showcase from the exact same kit actually, the main cockpit cabin carpets for the MGA Roadsters and Coupes, and it also touches again on the spare wheel cover as they kind of flow from the back of the rear deck of the car into the boot trunk area. Let's start with the spare wheel cover, as that is certainly the more obvious in terms of originality and whatnot. So spare wheel cover, we've got two of them here. We've got one in grey with black and the other one in camel wool. Camel wool obviously is going in line with the boot trunk kit. It's all from the same customer over in Australia, and also the same kit that I showcase the carpet set on with a video link at the end here. So originally from the factory, as you can see here, spare wheel cover was majority grey. It went from the main cockpit cabin area of the rear deck here, as you can see, which was normally a sort of carpeted piece here, and then that went through the rear bulkhead effectively and into the boot trunk area. Where's that page gone? There we are. And that section there was grey. Now, what material it was is a subject of debate. You've got basically Hardura and you've got Armacord. They're effectively the same materials. They're basically a felt-backed PVC with a graining on them. Armacord has a rib effect to it. Hardura just has a heavy grain effect to it. Very much a subject of debate and also a subject of terminology about what was original. We can offer both. Generally speaking, on our website it's listed as Hardura, which is the sort of non-ribbed version there. And this is what we've done for this one here. But if you want us to use the ribbed version, do let us know. That's not a problem at all. Just give us a heads up and we'll make it however you want. But yeah, it normally was a combination of black and grey, Hardura and carpet. Carpets, generally speaking, carpets on the MGAs were a Karvel material. Karvel is like a ribbed Hessian-backed carpet, which we can supply as well. But depending on what sort of spec you're going to with your car, a lot of people end up doing the same colour scheme as the main cockpit carpets, because then it all ties in nicely, and same again with the boot trunk mat and whatnot. But your car, your choices will obviously help and guide if necessary, but ultimately it's your choice at the end of it. So that's the kind of options there, and obviously it's a pre-sewn cover. This has been done using obviously the Hardura and then the carpet. This is actually a nylon carpet here that we've used for this black part for a particular customer that's gone for a nylon carpet set from us to match in. But yeah, pre-sewn, obviously it's where the spare wheel goes, and this is the part that comes into the cockpit cabin area. This is the part in the boot trunk area, and then it has the vinyl retainer for attaching to the bodywork. It does not include the surround element here. There's like a metal or fiberboard surround element to it. We do not provide that. You're effectively reusing your old one on that one, so just bear that in mind. That's effectively the cover done, and obviously this is a wool version here, which has, so this is camel wool, and we've edged it in parchment, which is to tie in with the customer's main colour scheme, which is actually he's gone for a full leather trim kit, so all the seats are, everything's in leather on the seats, but also all the panels are leather as well. So that just again gives a nice subtle nod to the rest of the trim by edging the carpets in that, and it doesn't give too much of a contrast. Obviously we like to give people the choice depending on the colours that we're going for. Sometimes it works nicely to tie those in, other times play it safe and we can edge the carpets in whatever colour best matches that carpet. So again, up to you. As you can see on the grey one here, we've just edged it in grey so it all matches up. So again, these are the little details we go to with our kits to make your restoration how you want it effectively. So happy to guide you on that. So that's effectively the spare wheel cover. Moving on to the boot trunk mat and sides, which is sold as a 3-piece kit like this. Like I say, not really original for the car. They did leave with the bare bodywork, but it's a great upgrade and it does really finish off the interior very nicely, especially if you're tying in the colour scheme all the way through. But effectively, you've got the 2 side panels here. This is the front of the car if we're stood at the back of the car. So you've got 2 side panels which literally go up on the vertical side elements here. There you are. So that's the left-hand one there. If we're looking at the left hand, you can see almost the shape of it with the curve there. So that'd be on the vertical and curving around there like that. So they're the side elements there. Then you get obviously the main mat here, which is a mat. It's barely got any binding on it. It does have binding here where it's got a cutaway and then this piece sewn on with a dart, which is obviously to allow this fuel pump section here to sort of travel up under it. So there's that section there, and then you have darts sewn into this front section here, which is why it's sort of rising up, and that is to obviously enable it to fit around these certain elements of the bodywork underneath there. So that's effectively the boot mat. It's worth noting as well that effectively the way it goes in there, these side bits will almost go up a step to allow that step there at the sides, and then these are purely literally on the vertical panels here. So yeah, that shows it nicest there. So you've got the darts will help it over that ridge there, and then this is just going up over the step. It'll bend nicely. Our wool carpet is very premium automotive wool. It's the same stuff that we use for all of our Jaguar restorations as standard. And generally speaking, carpets wise, we offer 3 grades. You've got wool, which is by far and away the best in terms of quality and durability, and what I'd always recommend for anyone. Like I say, for Jaguars, it's the only carpet we offer, but for Triumph, Heelys and MGAs, we do offer nylon at the more budget end of things. Karvel in the middle, generally speaking only for MGAs and Heelys, because actually both of those cars originally did use that material, which is the ribbed material I showed you earlier, or wool at the more premium end. But like I say, unless you're a stickler for originality, in which case you should be considering Karvel, wool is definitely the way to go. It's great quality, extremely durable, and the finish on it's fantastic. A good test of carpets is if you bend it in half, it's how much of the backing you see through the pile. This automotive wool is extremely densely packed pile, which is lovely because it means that when you do bend it, you barely see any of the backing coming through. The backing is a nice, smooth, compact rubber backing, which again is very good in terms of the fitment side of it. It's quite flexible. There is one other, should we say, wool, automotive wool that's commonly used in classic cars. In fact, some of our competitors use it as their standard wool. It's chalk and cheese, honestly. We went down that route a few years ago. It works out effectively cheaper and much easier to use as it's wider on the roll, but it's just not, it doesn't cut it at all. And so we stopped using it within a couple of months of first trying it. This automotive wool that we use, we've been using effectively for almost 50 years now to good effect. So be really mindful of that, because there are a couple of suppliers out there that are offering wool, and by name you're going to think that they're the same quality. They are not, and that's why we always ask people to compare samples, because even before you've considered the quality and fitment of our products versus other people, which is where we come up trumps on things, you've always got to consider the actual quality of the raw materials. And don't get me wrong, some other companies out there do offer the exact same wool, but other ones out there do offer this, should I say, inferior wool. And simply look at the backing on it, it crumbles, but also do the test, bending it in half, and see how much of the backing you see through the pile, and you'll soon realise that our wool is far superior as a raw material. You'll find that the pile on the other one, because it's not very densely packed, you'll end up with bulb patches coming through after a certain period of time. So take it from someone that went down that avenue trying to make us a bit more efficient on things, and ended up coming full circle and sticking with what we know and what we stand by in terms of the quality of the wool. So bear that in mind. Also, our wool does offer a great range of colours out there. So we've got beiges, reds, blues, obviously black, biscuits, tans, etc. There's all sorts of colours. See our materials and colours library for more information on that. With regard to the original materials used mostly by Healy and MG, which is the Karvel, you are limited in colour choice. You get basically black like this one, you get a dark blue, a red and a grey. That being said, originally from the factory, MG were not exactly particularly creative when it came to original colours of carpets. In fact, a lot of them left with black as standard, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, worth doing a bit of research on, certainly worth getting some samples from us and having a discussion with me. I like to be as honest and transparent with every element of the process. It's how our business has garnered the reputation over the years for being the top end of the industry. Even before you've ended up with a product, it's our customer service and knowledge base before that. So anyway, hope you found that useful. Please, of course, remember to look at other videos on our YouTube channel and other videos at the end of this video, especially if you're restoring your MGA. So there'll be some good links on there to other parts that you may require for your restoration. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and tune in next time for our next video. Thank you.